Hello there, all my little storms. So for the past month, I have made 28 sketches based on turning 28 monsters into hunters in celebration of Wilds coming out. Monster Hunter Wilds coming out. So a lot of people might be wondering, why Monster Hunter? Well, I'll explain that as we get into the drawings. So let's go! Back in 2023, my beautiful, handsome partner gifted me Monster Hunter Rise and the DLC Sunbreak. I played through most of it on stream, which you can watch the whole playlist on the VODs channel of this little noob playing through Monster Hunter. You can expect mostly how that went. It was fun. I found the fights of each of the monsters really unique and a really big challenge to overcome, but those challenges were really awesome and it always made me want to come back and grind the monsters in order to be able to go and fight more monsters, to get more stuff, to go and grind and get more stuff, to beat up bigger monsters. I always loved that. It was great. My brain worms were very happy. So you wouldn't even imagine that I actually hate grindy games. But because my brain worms were happy, because of how this particular grind was going, my brain worm's happy, that means I play more game. Of course, eventually through all of this grinding, I found my main weapon that I absolutely love and will of course be picking up in Wilds, Insect Glaive. Though I do want to experiment a little bit with bow and maybe light bow gun as well in the next game. But while I was in Rise, I did dabble a little bit with dual blades, which was actually my first main, before switching over to Insect Glaive because I got a controller in order to be able to play it better. And dual blades was pretty easy to play with a keyboard. I did also dabble a little bit with longsword in master rank of the DLC Sunbreak, but then of course my beautiful partner then gave me Monster Hunter World plus the DLC Iceborne, which I actually just recently finished the main story of Iceborne, and I would say that is completed now. I know it's technically not because I would have to go and face Fatalis. I'll do that on my own. I think I got that. I got it. I'm a big girl. I can go fight Fatalis on my own. When I get there, maybe I'll stream. Maybe I'll stream it, but I don't know. Now, in World, specifically, I will say Rise taught me base game, how to do it, all the mechanics, everything I needed to know. Rise was very handholdy. World threw you in and said good luck, and all you had was the clothes on your back. I got carded probably way more in World than I have ever in Rise, because World literally showed me how unforgiving Monster Hunter can truly be, which I did learn in the DLC of with Sunbreak. But World taught me that was how the entirety of the game was going to go. So, I had to be a very big girl and really learn how to play. Which honestly did get me more used to how to use Insect Glaive, and I've gotten to know a few more tricks with Insect Glaive in World than of course I had in Rise. Now, even though that the game was very unforgiving and maybe sometimes want to rage quit here and there, which I feel like a few of us have gone through, I still did love it. And I still find myself every once in a while just loading the game back up just to go on a few hunts here and there, doing a little bit of grind set for the mindset and the happy brain worms that it gives me. Gotta feed them worms, you know? So no matter what, I always came back to Monster Hunter, and have even been thinking about maybe playing some of the past games as well. I saw some people kind of going back and playing through the original games, and I kind of maybe want to go into Frontier, because Frontier seems a little bit interesting, and considering a few Monster Hunter friends that I do have that have played the previous games, they said that I would probably actually enjoy Frontier. So I might dabble into looking where exactly I can get it and how to play it. So when that comes up, we will be trying to go through Frontier. Now then, with the announcement of Wilds releasing, I wanted to do something to celebrate it. When something popped into my head in the middle of January. Why don't you just draw 28 different monsters as hunters for each day until the release? Brilliant idea, brainworms. Let's go for it. Totally wasn't a frog that told me that. No, it was the brainworms. However, I knew I couldn't draw full rendered pieces, so I opted for sketches, and then cross-hatching for rendering them. Now, cross-hatching is definitely very tedious and does take a lot of work to do, and probably would have just been easier if I did draw full art pieces with a nice rendering, but I actually love cross-hatching. It's therapeutic to me. It was just a nice, repetitive, therapeutic way of going about drawing. And actually, when I did start drawing when I was a wee little baby, starting out with traditional work of drawing, I did a lot of cross-hatching. I've always just loved it and enjoyed it, and still do use it for my traditional work currently. So, cross-hatching has always been my bread and butter when it comes to rendering, outside of doing my more traditional rendering of the painterly style that you normally see me draw. Furthermore, outside of rendering with cross-hatching, I actually also began to add some color as well. Well, not really color, just more of grayscale color, just to break up a few things here and there, and basically add basic highlight without really doing much. But again, at the end of the day, cross-hatching was where it was at when it came to rendering. Of course, comparing the sketches of when I first started to when I ended is very, very different, but I have made some growth. And actually, I think my cross-hatching has gotten a lot better, because one thing that my art teachers used to say in my past is that you really suck at cross-hatching. Because sometimes my lines would be too far apart, sometimes they would be too close together, sometimes they weren't like... It was like they wanted me to mathematically just have them all be the same width apart, and I think after you do cross-hatching every single day for 28 days, you start finally learning how cross-hatching works. Now, of course, there are some places that still have a problem, and actually, funny enough, I do have a cross-hatching, or a few cross-hatching brushes, and I did try that on one of them, but I ended up deciding no on it, because actually how the brush works wasn't what I thought it did. So I threw away those brushes and decided to just go all manual again, which I trust my own manual ability over that of some brushes sometimes. And, you know, when in doubt, draw it with your hands. Draw it with actual paper. I actually did even think about drawing these in traditional instead of that of digital, but you know, digital is easier. Gets it done faster. And I'm already at my drawing tablet anyways, because I've been working on my comic. It was just nice to take a break and do some relaxing cross-hatching and really looking into some of the monsters and the armor and the weapons. Speaking about looking into them, I think I've gained a lot more appreciation for all of the art that has gone in to Monster Hunter. As a person that actually got a degree in game art, I do know all the process that it takes to make a final game and even make the final art and designs for this stuff. Yes, I used to go to university and I learned a lot. My actual specific craft was into that of prop art, meaning I would be working on weapons, clothing, and other assets that would probably be in the game. For example, environments, or that of boxes, luggage. Honestly, I love environments within games. I've always kind of liked looking at how things were put together, so going into that with 3D work was what I wanted to do. But How does that knowledge apply to me doing this art? Well, in looking into all of the little weapons and looking at all their little details, even looking at the monsters and all of their little details, it's made me appreciate Monster Hunter so much more in a different sort of way. Not only for the gameplay, but also the amazing art that gets put into it. And all of the time and effort that everybody does, from that of the base coders, the beta players, and even that of the directors, and of course, the artists that are all behind it. It makes me appreciate all of the art that goes in to create an amazing piece of media. And I hope with this that you can also kind of see that too. Again, it was like I was doing an entire study on all of that of the artists and what they have done. Even though I was just basically kind of copying it, I still did try to make them myself to really see how the shapes were working, why they chose certain decisions, how this actually works, and even I was thinking, okay, how are different monster parts actually going to fit for these particular armor sets? How does this weapon look the way that it does so it can make it look the way that it does? And sometimes I even had to come up with my own designs for some of the monsters because, well, there was no canon designs yet, especially for the monsters that are going to be in Monster Hunter Wilds. I didn't have all of those armor sets, so I had to come up with it. And because I had already some knowledge of kind of how they go about designing certain armors and certain weapons, that knowledge helped me to really think of good designs that probably would fit. One, they had to be unique. Second, they had to be asymmetrical in some sort of way. Sometimes they are symmetrical, so it kind of like depends. But they mainly have to have certain parts of the monster, that is, certain characteristics the monster has, whether it be maybe they are a dragon, so maybe it has a dragon wing on it. Or maybe they have these weird looking shaped horns, so probably the armor is going to have some weird shaped looking horns. So each and every part of the monster can be a little bit of a design inspiration unto itself into the armor. So I did try to keep that in mind when designing certain armors that I didn't have any references for. And at the end of the day, it was nice to come up with those kinds of designs in a homage and also just an understanding of what the artists were intending. And at the end of the day, I love drawing each and every one of these. And if you do want to hear more about all of my little thinkings about them and what I exactly did for each one, you can go and check out the full shorts playlist, which has every single day and every single monster. I even sometimes talk about the monster itself, my experience with that monster, and even if that monster is one of my favorites. So if you do want to go and check that out, I highly recommend it. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for any future content, or you can join me live over on Twitch and maybe we can go on some hunts together in Monster Hunter Wilds, because I do like hunting with that of the community. And actually, speaking about the community, I have really enjoyed being part of the Monster Hunter community. It has been so welcoming as a new player from 2023, starting in Rise, going into World. It has just been so amazing to see all of you, and I hope that you keep that same energy with the new people that are going to be coming into Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, of course, you know, we can be a little bit playful to them, you know? We can mess with the new players a little bit, but don't be mean. We just mess with them a little bit, just a wee bit, just a wee bit. But at the end of the day, we still have fun with them. We still help them when they need help, and that's what we do as a community. I do want to thank you all for watching this video. I had a lot of fun doing this challenge, and I might do it again sometime in the future. I don't know when, but when I do, I'll let you guys know. And as I always say, may the winds guide you. Until next time, good